r/AskReddit. What are some things that continue to work even when broken? Soap. Ice cubes. Ice cube. You break an ice cube and you get two. Boom, infinite ice cubes. Crayons. My father used to join my crayons back together by melting the broken ends slightly with a lighter and sticking them back together like melted wax. Then I started asking him to join different colors together, and I had all these weird multicolored knobby crayons. I got silicone melting trays for all my kids' broken pieces. They turned out so cool that we have bought cheap crayons and broke those just to make multicolored new ones. I tell my students every time we do art with crayons, broken crayons still color. They inevitably will get upset/cry when they break one if I don't say it. They are in grade 1. OMG, when I was a kid, at age when you got crayons and the kids menu to color on at restaurants, I legit was mortified when I broke any crayons. I thought the staff would be so upset for me and make me replace them. My parents always told me it was fine, but I didn't believe them for a while. I'm still laughing about that 20 some years later. I'm sure you grew up to take very good care of things. As someone who had a similar experience, it just turned into a lifelong anxiety and persistent trust issues that never really resolved themselves. Everything I touch breaks sooner or later, so I just stopped touching stuff for the most part. I can't imagine what a terrifying experience masturbation must be for you. Broke my cock. Oops. A broken cock will still color. In a college drawing class, one of the first things my professor did was make us snap our brand new charcoal in half, so we wouldn't treat it like something precious and get upset if it broke later. Plus the smaller pieces were easier to work with. My professor did this too. I teach pre-K. It's the same thing, but with more confusion involved. Pre-K 2. I say this often, and then have to show them an unbroken one and a broken one, and how they still both look the same on the paper. That usually helps. I always say, look, now you have to. That worked on my younger brother precisely once. My parents gave us both a cookie. He complained that he wanted to. My dad broke my brother's in half and gave it back to him, and he was completely happy. Several hours later there was sort of a hey I wait a second moment, but he had already eaten it, so he didn't do anything much. Later in the week my dad tried the same trick, and he was like, hell no, I actually want to. Betrayal. I remember when my nephew was like 4 or 5, and we were on a long coach ride, and his mum recorded, while his dad held like a £20 note in one hand, and a bunch of change in the other hand. That added up to like £5, and he said to my nephew, whichever one you pick, you get to keep, and my nephew looked at them both, and took the change, and made this sly face, like he had tricked the adults. It was so funny. He's like almost 10 now, but I always remember that face, when he was so happy with himself, and he thought he had outsmarted everyone. It always makes me smile. I'm an adult, and I die inside when crayons break. You would think they could make a crayon repair kit. It's called a lighter. Just melt the halves a little and stick them back together. Asterisk. Ask an adult before using pyromancy in the classroom. In my mother's kindergarten, when two kids want the same crayon, she just snap it into 2 halves and hand them each. This kills me from the inside out every time. Found the marine. D. Must be a marine. Twice as much for marines to eat. I didn't even realize this question was a riddle until you solved it. Good answer. Same can be said about pencils. Just sharpen it and you're good to go. So they work even when they become crayons. Cut off one head, 2 more shall take its place. Chalk. It doesn't taste as good when it's split in 2. Split it into 3, and you have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Are these types of interesting thoughts a result of quarantine or something? Nope, just another day on Reddit. Chalk is effective as an antacid if you're desperate. Try not to get the dust free. It has a binding agent or something, and sticks to your teeth more. It absorbs the acid. Interesting. Chalk is basic and acid is acidic. When you mix the two together, the base neutralizes the acid, basically turning it into water. But what if your stomach starts foaming? Then you have gas. A teenager's voice. This cracked me up. Pencils. I remember when I was a kid and I would forget to bring pencils to school. My friend would break his pencil into two and give me one half. We would sharpen it and bang. You have two of them. Was banging him really necessary? I guess he didn't know where to draw the line. Good job you had a sharpener, otherwise him giving you half would be pointless. r/puns would like to have a word with you. A heart. Padma has entered the chat. Edit. Ooh. Gold, thanks kind stranger. Annie, you're breaking my heart. Liar. You turned her against me. You have done that yourself. You will not take her from me. Your anger and your lust for power have already done that. You've allowed this dark lord to twist your mind until now you've become the very thing you swore to destroy. Padma has left the chat. Don't lecture me, Obi-Wan. I see through the lies of the GD. I have brought peace, freedom, justice and security to my new empire. I will kill you. Chill, nerds. Employees. The beatings will continue until morale improves. My boss used to say this weekly. I suppose that's better than saying it strongly. Unless they work for a sorcerer, the magic won't work if the staff is broken. I have 500 brooms with buckets of water that beg to differ. I just listened to this story last week. Listened? Going real old school there. On the contrary, audiobooks are a modern invention. I was gonna say me, but you got there with by far the better answer. Can confirm. Am broke. Still work. As an employee, I can confirm this. Thread's over. I'll get the lights. I'll just grab the chairs and the leftover cookies. This hit home for a lot of people, especially now lol. And we keep taking it, day after day. Yes, home. Where many of us are forced to stay while continuing to work. The metaphorical prison has become more literal. Angrily upvotes. Apparently not my fornicating dryer. If your lint filter is on the top, take the lint trap out and use a Phillips on the 2 screws. Take 4 back panel off. Should be 9 screws taking 1/4 socket. Then unscrew the remaining 5 screws holding the lint vent in place. Take that out and clean it out really good. And also check the duct running to the outside of the house. When replacing the shaft that runs to the outside, make sure the airflow is not restricted as best you can. This should make your dryer run a lot better. Edit. Don't run a maximum capacity load through your dryer. Instead of running a full wash load through the dryer, run a half load. Source. Experience with the same problem. For instance, an escalator just turns into stairs. Sorry for the convenience. I would say r/unexpected much, but this is pretty expected. It was the only answer I actually expected when I opened this post. I scrolled down to find this. What meme will you never let die? Not necessarily let die, but I'm never gonna give it up. F. Rickroll. Ice Age baby. Post-ironic dog. F. Stunks man. It's gonna be May. Gabe the dog. Ugandan knuckles. Do you know the way? Big brother. Fake queen. Spit on her. This is day fucking way I. Click click. I'm going to go on YouTube and watch Ugandan knuckles videos now. K-bye. Beware brothers. He has the Ebola. We all going to hell for that one. Do you know that way? Do you know that way? Pickle Rick. The meme toad. Pepen. He's been around for more than a decade and people still continue to make new variations and versions of him. He's immortal. People who posted their story on Reddit and the person in said story found it. How did it go? A few years ago I made a comment on a post about families on the day before Thanksgiving where I mentioned that one of my cousins stabbed his mother to death. My son, whose screen name I didn't know, replied, "Tell them about the cousin who killed a prostitute." A stranger popped in and asked how many of your family are here, to which my son replied, "I dunno, we'll find out tomorrow at Thanksgiving." My sister posted about her abusive ex, and he saw it, but the thing is it wasn't trending, so the only way he could see it was if he went to her profile and found it. Then instead of sorting it out himself, he had his mother call her and ask her to stop embarrassing her poor boy. I have many stories, but the one I tell the most is the story of how I became a paraplegic. I won't retell it here, because it is sort of lengthy and kind of gut-wrenching. Needless to say, I wasn't always handicapped. It was a vehicular accident. Turns out the guy that hit me uses Reddit. He's a cross-country semi-truck driver who I assume is now swamped with work thanks to the coronavirus. We kept in contact after my accident. He would check in on me at the hospital for the long stay I had and would regularly call me after I finally returned home. Somehow he must have lost his phone or broke it without syncing contacts through Google, because when I called him on Thanksgiving last year it went to a different person who had no clue who I was. I felt bad because we had kind of become pen pals over the years. Well, I told my story on some subreddit a while ago. More of a watered down version, but essentially my story. I was direct messaged by someone here asking if I lived in such and such town, had a wife named wife's name, and if my name was Dudimo. Whoever it was had all that info, and I'm a pretty private person. Not even my wife knows my Reddit username, but she doesn't use Reddit. So I responded with "Who is this?" I got a response back that made me grin from ear to ear, because it's an inside joke between us. It said, "Tag, you're it. Call me sometime. 30th XXXX. I got my old pal back because I put my story up on Reddit. Edit. Stop being shy, Tony. If you can text me that you saw this, you can at least say hi to everyone. Second edit. Tony won't say hi because he sucks. That's right, Tony. You suck. Told you I did. Picture it. I was giving someone anonymous career advice on Reddit in the corporate office of company that I worked. DM'd me and basically told me to stop. They saw my post and basically internet stalked me until they figured out who I was. They said they knew my identity in their DM. It was a super 1984 moment for me. Point: in what context would your employer care that you were giving career advice to someone? I work in entertainment and there are a ton of gatekeepers that get super weird about giving anybody a leg up. Yep. Super toxic industry is super toxic. No surprise there. I'm also in entertainment. Stalking, harassment, power tripping, and gatekeeping are the norm. It's horrifying how terrible it is once you get inside. I'm working to leave it and find something more ethical. What are you doing in entertainment? I'm an actor and left multiple toxic places. Trying to create my own thing now and still looking for people that are cool. Found a lot, though, but not the majority. Fellow actor. Doing the same. Left a theater that's being run by a despot and have been independently producing things, guerrilla style. Guerrilla is the way to go. RIP Harambe. Dicks out. F. DK style is the way to go. DK. Donkey Kong is here. I have a friend who handled social media for a popular video game company. She found a series of Reddit posts by someone claiming to work for customer service at the company. They were promising to escalate individual complaint tickets and other karma whoring stuff. My friend was tasked with going through the person's comment history so they could figure out which employee was ducking around. Their comment history was regretful and full of explicit descriptions of their sexual history, as well as unflattering fitness progress photos. My friend then had to go and sit this person down and tell them their profile had been found and to please stop writing comments in her capacity as an employee at the company. I would have died. A bit indirect, but outcome was life-changing. I made a post about dating a coworker, now current partner, on a forum for step-parents. He has a child, I do not. Then, a few months later I posted on r/am I the Bunghalio about something unrelated and the post blew up. My other coworker found the ATA post and the post about dating a guy with a son and told my partner and my boss. My partner was okay with it, although mildly upset that I didn't bring my concerns to him originally, but my boss told me that, while dating a coworker wasn't prohibited or wrong, but it would negatively impact my career. My partner was told congratulations and got a promotion shortly after. I was demoted. It did negatively impact my career. Thanks, Dan and Sean. You'll suck. My partner and I both quit a few months later. First of all, anyone who spells Sean like that automatically becomes a bungholio. Like WTF even. The spelling of Sean made me feel instant dislike. I was curious as to why, so I used the Google and found other words with or. They include slaughter, haughty, distraught, naughty, and fraught. Or, I applaud your commitment. Please hold your applause. Who? Stop it. Well, I posted a homework question to an obscure subreddit. The only reply was a link to my class course page. That one as well as expected. F. Yes, that's the grade I got in the course. Found my ex's profile. He wrote about sorting out feelings with a friend, not me, that he always liked. They always had a Ross/Rachel quality to them, but reading his posts made so much sense. Were they on a break? Told a story about a guy I knew in high school that I hadn't spoken to in a few years. He saw it, reached out to me, we talked about how we were mutually attracted to each other in high school. He was broken up with his long-term girlfriend, so we hooked up once, and then he went back to her toxic crap again. Oh well, I got to scratch that itch. He still has my copy of a book that a friend of mine put a handwritten note on the front page of, though. I've offered to send him a new copy of his choosing and pay for shipping if he'll send it back, but he ghosted me. Maybe he'll see this post too and send me good omens. I too am owed a book by someone from the past. You reading this, Melissa? Where's my goddamned copy of A Clockwork Orange? God ducking damn it, why did you have to remind me that I still haven't got back my signed copy of Skullduggery Pleasant? God damn it, Kath, bring me back my Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas graphic novel. I pre-ordered that shiz. Not my post, but still a good story. I saw a trending post on some relationship sub about a guy whose stepfather was abusing his sister. I didn't give it much attention at the time. The story went on and on until the abuser got arrested or something, because some random guy called the cops on him or something. Weird story. Long story short, Op was my younger brother's internet friend from the other side of the world, and it was my brother who somehow managed to anonymously get the guy arrested. Can anything make you prouder than your siblings getting a Florida man arrested? Of course it was Florida man. Nothing special. Worked at a lab that got some national press. A coworker commented they worked on it. I chimed in that O2 worked on it. They are the only coworker that knows much main account name. Not exactly me and kinda opposite, but I broke up with my boyfriend after I finally stopped ignoring my feelings that there was a reason my boyfriend was emotionally unavailable. I saw his deleted Reddit post a week after asking relationship advice if he should text his ex from 3 years ago because he just realized he'll never love someone the way he did her. That was pretty fucked up to read, but also relieving. But you know what they say, don't go looking for things you don't wanna find. Edit words. On a different account I posted about some relationship troubles I was having during my first few years of college. Basically my girlfriend had moved down to California to go to hers, and I stayed where I was to go to mine. Being fairly used to sleeping in the same bed, we used to fall asleep over Skype next to each other. But around second quarter I had woken up to her masturbating while taking pictures. What turned out to be video to someone with Skype still on. I asked for help. Most people were creeped out by the sleeping over Skype thing. It was very unhelpful. Turns out she didn't see it. One of the people she was recording for did. Turns out she was camgirling for spending cash. He showed her profile and everything, and yeah, it was her. She used to do this I'm cuckolding him thing for them talking about me. So apparently the stories were creepily similar. And he told her his next paid session with her, and she came to talk to me. We managed another quarter with me feeling that out, but I just couldn't. I don't share well. Dude was bro as fornicate though. I posted about a smelly neckbed ex that tried to keep all my things when we broke up, and how I had to escape with my things when he finally went to sleep after 3 days of non-stop gaming. He sent me some messages asking if I posted that and why I would say that. I didn't answer him, logged out of the account, and kept on keeping on. Keith, if you see this, you never brushed your teeth or showered, we never had sex because your dick was ducking nasty. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for the way you treated your mom and sister. Get your shiz together, dude. Keith, you nasty. He loved that I posted the story. It was about how I grabbed his ass to make his crazy girlfriend jealous. I'm a guy and also had a girlfriend at the time. Very badly. So in high school, one of my teachers came I'm on Halloween dressed up as Dipper from Gravity Falls, and I posted a pic of it on the show's subreddit. I don't know how, but BuzzFeed found it and stole my photo for one of their articles about cool teachers. He thought it was cool and wanted to find who posted it so he could thank them for making him viral. BuzzFeed did link my Reddit account, so he found it pretty fast. He also found all my posts about how I was depressed and hated my body. Oh, and a suggestive cosplay pic of myself in a bikini. I was 18. Don't worry. He actually ended up talking to me about the whole depression thing, which was nice. But imagine walking into a high school class and hearing the phrase you/Capaldis. I went through a Reddit account and want to talk to you about it. Hearing that phrase would make my heart stop, and I don't even have anything on my account. A little more than a year ago I've posted about a girl that I started dating, and due to sheer luck she found my post. I've never been happier in my life and we're engaged now. So this is sort of related but a little backwards. This guy I was with for a year or so went back to being a good little Mormon right after the relationship and married a good little Mormon girl less than a year later, in the temple no less. When we were together he was very into sex and BDSM. Like, everyday kind of thing. Her username is the same name she uses in all her public stuff, so when I ran across it, I recognized it and snooped and found multiple posts about her husband's lack of interest in sex. I was mildly tempted to say something but I didn't. I found a girl from my school, mentioned my real name, and said she would want me to bathe her income. Utter freak out. Make sure to drink a lot of water that day. Well, did you? No, I didn't. Incident happened around half a year ago. Old account BTW. Half a year. Oh, saving up all the cum. How long do you still have to go? My kids are on Reddit. If they find me, they will yank my chain me in person. Because their worst possible outcome is that I will find out their usernames. My mom is on Reddit too. And my brother. Oh god, are you my mom? OMG, I hope this post blows up. Luckily never happened to me. But I saw a post written by a 13 years old about the guy she likes. She said that's her best friend's boyfriend. Few hours later her best friend commented saying I'm your ex-friend now. Awkward. Flex tape can't fix that. Not me, but some woman posted on Am I the Bunghalio shitting on her sister because her sister had a kid and couldn't come to her housewarming party. Op wanted her to get a babysitter. Sister wouldn't go for it. BC kiddo had separation anxiety and night terrors. Sister was a single mom and working 3 jobs to make ends meet. And naturally wanted to spend time with kiddo in between. Op's post was reeking of jealousy of the niece, and she apparently dropped some "your damn kid" line on her sister in an argument. The sister found the post, told her she was the Bunghalio, and told her not to contact her again in the comments. It was amazing. One time I said something about Chipotle being a great place to work and to eat, and some BuzzFeedish news blog site thing whatever scooped that comment up and put it in a best fast casual list. My mom found it and recognized my username. Not this one. She'll never find this one. Not again. There's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 19 billion chickens at any given time. If there was a chicken rebellion, how would you prepare to fight off your 2.7 chickens? Give or take a few? The question is, who will the geese support? The Canadians. You don't fornicate with Canada gooses. I once saw a Canada goose save a bald eagle from drowning, only to fornicate said eagle to completion, and believe me brother, that eagle was satisfied. And if that ain't majestic as fornicate, I don't know what is. I feel like this must be a metaphor for something, but I can't imagine what. There's a lesson here, and I'm not going to be the one who figures it out. The current upper class fornicating over the lower class, and the lower class being told to be satisfied with the way things are because they still get their McDonald's, Netflix, and social media. It's a quote from George Washington when he was a tween. It costs you $0 to not post that. But we are glad that you did. If you're accusing Canada gooses of stealing, then you're accusing me of stealing, and I suggest you let that marinate a bit. This guy steals. Time for a Donnybrook. Alright, that took a turn I didn't expect. What the fornicate is going on here? The next time someone asks me to explain the NAFTA agreement, I think I'll just link to this comment. I have an army of 34,903 ducks. One time when I was in Hawaii a chicken pecked my toe. I'm still kinda pissed about it. I'm ready for revenge. Chickens are for some reason magnetized to toes. It's like foot guys, but a whole species of them. To them toes probably look like thick worms. Wiggle wiggle. Sexy, thick worms. The wiggles. I will attack the eyes of my 0.39 human. My fellow chicken or chickens will attack the groin. I'm picturing 3 chickens popping out of a trench coat, lunging for vital organs. There has to be an anime of this. Are you familiar with the film Chicken Run? From Aardman Animations. Glock-a-doodle-doo motherfuckers. I'm old fashioned, so I prefer the Nagant 7-shot revolver. If you are not firing high velocity armor piercing 7.62mm ammunition at your adversary, are you really shooting? The Gaston's Glock 17 may have 10 more shots on tap, but when the armored chickens come knocking, you will be out of cluck. Edit. By popular demand, I changed out of luck to out of cluck. This is my favorite comment on Reddit. I'm wheezing. Samuel L. Jackson want to have a word with you. I can guess what that word is. Mother clucker. Shouldn't that be Glock-a-doodle-doo mother cluckers? Mother cluckers. Mother cluckers, mother cluckers. Take my upvote and go. Mother cluckers. You win. You missed a huge chance to say mother cluckers. Glock-a-doodle-doo mother cluckers. I'll take Shiznit father says for 1,000 Alex. That's foul. You missed the chance to say mother cluckers. Mother cluckers. Flamethrower. Mother cluckers. Priority 1 is to deal with the chickens that my stepdaughter has to deal with. She's 4. I think she could go 1 vs 1, but 2 vs 1 she'd need a little help. Then once I get one down, I pick it up and use it like a club. It's time to reassert the pecking order. Between you have to deal with 5.4 chickens. I have 4 kids and a vegan best friend. I'm responsible for at least 16 chickens. Fornicate it, give me a KSG-12, and I'll use it like a club on the last 3. Surely the vegan best friend can recognize that killing the insane chickens that want to murder them is a justifiable act of self-defense. Get them to help. Then it's 8 chickens each. Now, she could justify it. She's just too weak from being a 5-foot vegan lol. I know 2 kinds of vegans. Ones who can cook, and ones who can't. So translated, ones who are reasonably healthy and ones who eat nothing but potato chips and hummus. You mean a chicken coop? A wooden stick. My uncle locked me in a coop with aggressive chickens once and told me to fight them with a wooden stick, and it was pretty effective. I've been trained for this. When you were partying, I studied the coop. When you were having premarital sex, I mastered the coop. While you wasted your days at the gym in pursuit of vanity, I cultivated inner strength. And now that the world is on fire and the chickens are at the gate, you have the audacity to come to me for help. Don't chicken out, or the whores and partiers will look up and shout save us. And I'll look down and whisper no. They had a choice, all of them. They could have followed in the footsteps of good men like my father. Decent men who believed in fighting chickens with sticks. Instead they followed the droppings of lechers and communists and didn't realize that the trail led over a precipice until it was too late. First, I would cross the road. Edit. Well butter my flapjacks. I never would have guessed that an inverse chicken crossing the road would turn into my first gold mine. Thank you kind stranger, and for the other bling blings. Why did you cross the road? In order to beat the enemy you've got to think like the enemy. Rooster fights. Are you suggesting we use our roosters as weapons? Like a chicken fight club? The first rule of chicken fight club, no one clucks about fight club. Preheat the oven to 180 deg.C/350 deg.F. Finely chop 2.7 onions and add to fresh sage and breadcrumbs. Combine with a beaten egg and season with salt and pepper. You'll have time to peel the potatoes later. Now to punt the yeet. Gannon must be behind this. Dress up as Colonel Sanders. Finally, my username is relevant. In preparation, I'd be making Yorkshire puddings, carrot and sweet mash, cauliflower, roasties, stuffing and gravy. I'd be sure to take care of a few more than 2.7. My freezer is empty. I would throw their eggs at them, infinite source of artillery, and it would give them shell shock. Stand in front of their charge with a jar of 11 secret herbs and spices. Choking. I'm an expert at choking the chicken. Edit. Choking the chicken is a euphemism for wanking where I'm from. It has nothing to do with BDSM/rough sex. Euphemisms aside, that is a sound plan. The sound is fap 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 fap. What about flap 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 flap? Opens Krusty Krab's doors. Rev up those fryers, cause I sure am hungry. I've got a rock hammer and 2 cats within a few feet of me. I think I've got this. Do you really think the cats will side with us? This is the opportunity they've been awaiting. I think we can mostly count on the cats. Bloodlust is powerful, possibly more powerful than human hate. A comment here said a cat isn't a match for an angry horde of chickens. Maybe not a horde, but they can pick off the weak and the stragglers. And babies, keep them from producing a new generation of warriors. Cats are amazing and intelligent hunters. They'll be careful and won't enter battle with the odds stacked against them. The cats have much to teach us. R15. A shotgun would probably be better, more chance of hitting 2 birds with 1 shot. Not really. Shotguns are slower, less reliable, hold less ammo, and the shot doesn't spread out nearly as fast as people think. Found the white American male. Found the person who makes stupid assumptions. I have a Mossberg 930 with enough birdshot to help many who can't defend themselves. Same, except I have a 500. I've got a 590. What if 19 bee chickens came after us all, but one person at a time? FDFY. Played themselves. Group them in one place and kaboom them. No more chickens. I'll gladly give my life to see the chickens get roasted. Terrifying. Call in the US military. Hit those chickens with railguns and tanks. Emote. But it's a giant deep fryer. You really haven't thought this through, have you? Are you asking how we'd react if there was a chicken coup? Fight them with chicken drumstick. Shame them with their fallen brothers. Chickens love to eat chicken. I wouldn't do anything. If you hit them repeatedly, they let out a battle cry and a lot more of them show up to attack. I've got a scar under my right eye. From when I was a child, I was sent into a chicken coop. I unlatched that gate. The wire mesh caught between my chubby little fingers. The bite of steel. The crunch of hay under my feet as I walked in. I looked around, and the chickens, they didn't know me, my grandparents. Sure, but to them, I was a stranger, an intruder. They had one who defended their flock, a hero, a vicious raptor with claws as sharp as knives, and my naive self had no clue what it was I was about to face. It was just screeching, flapping, feathers and pain. Heat flowed down the right side of my face, searing agony as I stumbled, clawing at the wire to escape, but I couldn't see, couldn't find the gate. I'd closed behind me, crying for help. Nobody came. I was trapped, defenseless. I didn't know how to fight, what to do. You swing and they flap away, you kick and they cut your ankles, the pecs drive an nail gun into your flesh, the talons shear through cloth. You realize, these creatures were once velociraptors. They would take down their prey as a group and slice at tendons and arteries, until they were helplessly bleeding out, disabled and at the mercy of these smaller predators. I eventually clasped my blood-eaten scratched fingers through a hole, found the latch and pulled, crawling out still with them in pursuit, help arriving, but too late. I bear the scar under my eye, defended only by the evolution of an orbital socket against being blinded permanently, cheekbone exposed through ripped flesh, sewn back together, but leaving me marked by the vile feathered creatures. The chicken's head was taken, it was served for dinner, but I had none, nor would I for years. I wasn't victorious. I had lost, I was defeated. You're fornicating naive to think you're fighting 2.7 chickens at once. They're grouping, pack tactics, and they're swarming people. When one dies, they'll move on to the next, with a thirst for blood driven stronger. You don't want a melee weapon first, you want to burn them with the fornicating flamethrower. Their wings ain't their strong suit, but they can jump and flap enough to glide. That's where their real danger is, cause they can get to eye level even of a grown adult with that. You take that away, and your eyes are safe. You would be amazed the pressure of those beaks. You don't want a car. Those things are like bullets. They will get through. Then congratulations. You just locked yourself in a metal tomb with these murderous avians. You don't want a gun. You won't hit a target like that. You don't want a sword either. You won't hit a chicken. Low to the ground. You'll cut your legs off before you kill 3 of them. Baseball bat? You'll break your own fornicating legs. Genius. Crushing their skulls and driving beaks into your calves, screaming as you crumble down. Same with /u/Tato's idea. A frying pan seems great, but after the first few swings, a few misses, you think about how low a frying pan reaches your what? Bending over, bringing your eyes closer to them. A frying pan in the hand doesn't reach most chickens close to the ground. Congratulations, you're off balance, better in range, and again, you clip your shin bones with a misplaced swing having too much weight behind it, and you just cracked your leg a fracture with a soft swing, snapped it with a good one and you're down. Your eye juices are dripping out of the holes pecked in them as your tongue is pulled out from the seam by their beaks. You don't know what you're fighting, and be glad for that. Trust me. There is only one tool for fighting them once they close the range through the flames, and one tool only. Tennis racket. Hit yourself and it'll sting, but the frame is light, the air resistance minimal. The metal edging will snap a chicken's neck if it catches, and their bones don't require a lot to snap. They're avians. Even the flat of the racket will fornicating wreck them enough to decrease their strength. Held at length, you can reach the ground in sweeps, clear around your legs in fluid motions, and also intercept them coming at head height. You're not wrong for choosing the shape of a frying pan, but you're going too far. Without the right ergonomic design, these things were designed to deflect projectile things coming at your face at high speed, all around you. Maximum reach and minimal bodily interference. You want a flamethrower, a tennis racket, and it's winner chicken dinner baby. I very thoroughly approve of this strategy. This is exactly the kind of post I would expect from a chicken. They are taking notes. I think Dwight Schrute alone can handle about 1 million of them. We just need 19,500 Schrutes. Tag team with Peter Griffin. I'd prepare by setting the oven at 375F. I for one welcome our new chicken overlords. You cannot win a war against birds. Australia has tried and lost. If you ever played Zelda you know this threat is real. Oh yeah, definitely. Buckethead would not approve. Colonel Sanders, execute Order 66. I can't believe you guys are all on Reddit arguing about such a fatuous topic, based on such false pretenses. First, there are 7.594 billion people on Earth. 962 million are over the age of 60, and therefore will not be fighting chickens, rather than watching CBS, Fox News and reruns of Matlock. 26% or 1,974,440,000 are under the age of 15, so count them out. The 1 billion disabled will not be doing any chicken fighting. The populations of Sweden, Switzerland, and vegetarians are around 300 meters. That leaves us with approximately 3,357,560,000 able-bodied humans, assuming little overlap. Finally bringing us to approximately 5.65 chickens per human. In conclusion, flamethrower. The biggest problem is those 19 billion chickens are in extremely dense population centers, with very low human population density. At first, the foul masses would overwhelm. Ask any link and he will confirm. However, as they disperse, the ratio of chickens to humans will decrease. The use of opposable thumbs will help the humans as their tools assert some degree of dominance. At this point the chickens would have to invoke Article 5 of the FATO, Fowl and Avian Treaty Organization. While the chickens were the initial aggressors, once they become overwhelmed and lose ground, the Mutual Defense Clause would kick in. Now humans are in trouble. You don't have about 2 chickens to deal with now, but everything from hummingbird strike fighters to emu and ostrich destroyers. The numbers will be more like 30 or more to 1. I, for one, welcome our winged overlords. Sander the Hound Clegane, you're a talker. Listening to talkers makes me thirsty. The hound reaches across the table, grabs Poliver's drink, and drains it. Sander the Hound Clegane, and hungry. Think I'll take 2 chickens. Poliver turns and looks at his men, then turns back to the hound. Poliver, you don't seem to understand the situation. Sander the Hound Clegane, I understand that. If any more words come pouring out your fishy taco mouth, I'm gonna have to eat every fornicating chicken in this room. Poliver, you lived your life for the king. You gonna die for some chickens? Sander the Hound Clegane, someone is. Another long pause, then everybody draws their weapons and a fight breaks out. Just a couple left. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, my fellow mother cluckers. If the Legend of Zelda series has taught me anything, it's that I'd be hopelessly fornicated, regardless of any other survival or combat skills or gear I had acquired. I can see quarantine is getting too OP. r/AskReddit. What item is very useful in a zombie apocalypse, but most people don't think about using it? Motorcycle gear. Motorcycle pants, jackets, and gloves are designed to prevent road rash injuries and are really tough. Wearing them, especially if you also use the helmet, makes you immune to bites. Do I still need neck protection? Travel pillow. Sorted. Even just a pair of welding gloves. There were so many scenes on The Walking Dead when someone would stab a zombie in the face and their hand was like 5 centimeters from its teeth. It's such a simple and obvious solution. A book on basic survival techniques, sort of like a Boy Scouts book or something. A good pair of running shoes goes a long way. Or good hiking boots. Comfy to walk in, and it protects your ankles. I've had the same pair for like 3 years, and they are still great. A book on local edible plants and mushrooms. That is actually a very smart point. Tie a rope with any object like a simple padlock. Now you have a meteor hammer or just swing it like a basic flail. I was just going to put some doorknobs in a sack, but this guy here is going places. Funnily enough, there is a great deal of debate in historical groups as to if the flail weapon ever actually existed in medieval times. While the agricultural implement certainly existed, a number of arguments from both a practical and an evidential standpoint have said that the flail is pretty much just a bizarre and not very effective weapon. A tank. Preferably a British one, as they have integrated kettles. Can't go wrong with a churchill. Random fact, if you ask for a churchill in Costa Rica, you'll get a dessert consisting of shaved ice topped with artificial flavored syrup, ice cream, condensed milk and wafer straws. I live on the 11th floor. I think I would just take off the staircase railings and pour some sunflower oil over the stairs. Also, a bit irrelevant, but I think a lot of zombies would be walking with their trousers on their ankles. Surely a zombie isn't smart enough to pull their pants up. Yes, they dry out and skinny. All of the fat people would lose their clothes. There would be a ton of zombie D and zombie boob people walking around. Edit, you're weird, Reddit. I always thought it was stupid that no zombie movies had naked zombie people. That and the fact that the survivors seemingly never take a piss or shiz. There would be a ton of zombie and zombie boob people walking around. Go on. I like where this is headed. Since zombies are undead, would it still count as necrophilia if you jerked off to zombie boobs? Edit. Thank you so much for making one of the highest rated comments on my account about jerking off to zombie honkers. Asking the real questions. Towels. Nobody thinks about wrapping their arms in them. Try to bite through a towel. Zombie. A little rope and duct tape go a long way if you are creative enough to use them well. Just jump in on the trend and get infected. Worst case scenario, you get gunned down. Best case scenario, they find a cure and you don't remember about the horrors that took place around you. It's a win-win. Tactical shovel. Don't forget the Drugas. Adderall to stay awake for days without feeling hungry. Xanax to sleep when and where you want. Ah yes, who could forget the essentials. Cat or dog food. It's completely safe to eat, and usually this wouldn't even be on anyone's zombie apocalypse shopping spree list. So while everyone is killing each other over pizza rolls, sub sandwiches, and brains, here you are with your delicious premium chicken flavored cat food. I'm in the apocalypse, and everybody fought each other over toilet paper. The Great Apocalypse of 2020. Running. Seems like the zombies are moving really slow, and yet nobody in the movies thinks about moving faster. Rule 1. Cardio. Zombieland is awesome. World War Z has entered the chat. Hey guys, just a couple left. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Condoms, you don't want any zombie AIDS, do you? Stilts. They can't reach me. I'm inevitable. Hashtag McAfee for Monday Night Football.